What do you mean, Fair Fox?
So you're trying to tell me Christy Brinkley I don't see any. I don't have any Christy Brinkley posters. I can barely remember that scene from Vacation. It's all about Charlie's Angels, and it's all about the poster.
No, pre-Billy Joel.
No. There is no pre-Billy Joel.
Yes,
Christy Brinkley. There is no pre-Billy Joel.
Well,
she's out there by the car.
Shh.
All right.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Welcome to Vintage Vinyl. This is our first episode of a weekly show, which is all about lists, because music geeks love making lists. Their top 5 bands, their top 10 songs, their worst 5 bands. And we're going to do that. This is Jeffrey Lee Puckett, Tommy Heiser. I'm the music writer here at the Courier Journal. Tom makes the web work, as far as I can tell.
And, occasionally we have a heated discussion about some of our favorite tunes.
That's what we do. We love to do that, and the Rolling Stones come up all the time.
And if you're looking for a top 10, there's no better place to start us up than the Rolling Stones. So, Jeffrey, why don't you get us going?
All right. My number 10 song for the Rolling Stones is No Expectations. It's a great country blues song.
That's arguably one of the top 2 or 3 of the Country Stones tune. I'm going to start it off with the Last Time, which actually was the first Richard Jagger written song. Love the beginning of that. A lot of great old footage of it.
Old school. Number 9 for me, Worried About You from Tattoo You.
A little bit of a surprise. The Tattoo, that really kind of caught me off guard.
Surprised me too.
Let me go with number 9, Jigsaw Puzzle. Got a methylated sandwich. Whoa, you're not getting no love for Jigsaw Puzzle?
I think we should just go to my number 8.
No love for Jigsaw. Okay, all right, fine.
Come on, the number 8.
Okay.
An early cover song.
There we go.
First single ever.
First single, okay. Yeah. Let me go with another cover with It's All Over Now.
I love that song.
Another great footage of that off that 1965 documentary.
All right. Number 7 for me is Happy.
7.
Keith Richards, Happy.
Happy, but it's 7. One of the, as Keith said, one of the best rock and roll songs of all time. Well, okay, we'll have more to say about Happy in just a moment. Let me go with number 7 with Dear Doctor, I'm damaged. There's a pain where there once was a heart.
You should have just stopped with your damaged.
No. If we're talking about vintage country, then I know we're throwing some out with You Got the Silver, but Dear Doctor, one of my favorites.
One more old school one for me, number 6, Get Off My Cloud.
Love the beginning to that. That's got to be a must on any desert island.
First rap song. I think so.
Number 6 for me is Street Fighting Man, and one reason I got to give a shout out to Johnny Rotten, who absolutely hates Mick Jagger and absolutely hated Rod Stewart, said they were wankers at a time when there was a lot of upheaval, and said that if there was any real street fighting man, it was him, not Mick Jagger. Right. But I love the tune. Yeah.
All right, let's check our magic guest ball.
The magic ball.
Let's see who our magic guest is going to be this week.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Brian Gray from the Hot Wires.
My favorite Stones song would have to be from an early period of the Stones, and I particularly love the song Connection, which is on Between the Buttons, and it's one of the first tunes that Keith and Mick really sang harmony together it was pretty much all the way through the song.
Good
choice.
Appreciate
you doing that. It was good choices.
Now, we are ready for the starting 5.
The Regal 5.
This is an all-star lineup on any set list. Desert Island Rolling Stones is what I think we like to call this.
This is Desert Island Rolling Stones.
All right.
And this was a late choice for me. Tumblin' Dice is number 5 for me. I had a real moment with Tumblin' Dice this past weekend. I was listening to Exile. Sometimes you hear a song you've heard a million times, but all of a sudden you feel like you're hearing it fresh. Mm-hmm. That's what it was like for me. It just struck me at how perfect a song it is.
I'm going with Rocks Off. Now, I was a little torn between Rocks Off and Rip This Joint.
Yeah.
But the beginning, I think that's you can really hear the Mick Taylor influence in that, and that's definitely one I cannot be without.
Also, one of Mick's greatest lyrics ever, Sunshine Bores the Daylights Out of
Sunshine
Me.
bores the daylights out of me.
I have rocks off at number 4.
There
So
you go.
I'm just going to say what he said.
Great minds think alike on this
for
one.
a change.
At my 4, I'm going with Ruby Tuesday.
Interesting.
Just that, again, that beginning, I'm always a big fan of either certain lyrics or those opening hooks, and she could never say where she came from.
It is, for a song that's really kind of girly, it's pretty good.
Is that in reference to me?
Number 3, for me, Can't Always Get What You Want.
I love it.
That actually flirted with 2 or even 1 for a while. But ultimately just didn't make it.
You know, my top 3, starting off with Dead Flowers.
Nice.
The opening to Dead Flowers, which I still say is with all due deference to Country Honk. Not Country Honk, not again Honky Tonk Woman, but Country Honk. That's, we're climbing the ladder of the country. Dead Flowers has some of the best twangy lyrics and best playing in it. And
it's sincere country, too. Sometimes mixed country is not sincere at all to me. It sounds like he's making fun of us hillbillies. But Dead Flowers, it sounds...
I could never be alone. Now, how much more real is it going to get than that? Come on.
That's right. Way better than Faraway Eyes. Number 2 on JLP's list, Paint It Black. I think this was the first example of Mick and Keith's sort of dark side. I think they were a little bit angry in this song. It was right when they were making just top 5 pop singles.
Mm-hmm.
And this has kind of a serial killer feel to it.
Sure, okay. Paint It Black for me was always one of those songs that it just kind of got played on the radio. You heard it you hear it on the weekends. QMF or one of the stations is throwing, they got a 3 for the Stones. But I never tied it in with an album. I never tied it in with a feel. And so that's why it never quite rose up there for me. Not that I didn't like it. Number 2, I'm going with Midnight Rambler.
Speaking of serial killers.
Back to the theme, a little shout out to Albert DeSalvo, who in fact was found guilty with new DNA testing. But Midnight Rambler, the opening to that, the real gritty guitar, the great line at the end. That's probably one of the great finishes.
Just the build-up, the musical build-up at the end is just intense.
It is. It's up there. I mean, I kind of weighed, other than my number 1, which we'll begin to our tops here in just a second, but I had to weigh that with Sympathy for the Devil, just because it is the quintessential kind of Rolling Stones song, right. And she killed the Tsar and his ministers, and Anastasia screamed in vain. That it's a lyric you can't pass up, but. Midnight Rambler for me, well, anything off Beggar's Banquet. I think that's been our theme between Exile and Beggars, but it was a tough one to choose. Yeah.
Number 1 actually turned out to be easy for me.
Here we go. Drum roll.
Loving Cup from Exile on Main Street.
Wow. Now that is going to shatter some minds. Not mine, because big Exile on Main Street fan, but Loving Cup, that is reaching down deep into the playlist.
It really is. And the reason I love Loving Cup, for me, it seems to represent everything I love about the Stones. It's got a little bit of country, it's got some blues, it obviously has rock and roll, and then that great ending where the horns come in is very Stax Volty. It has a real soul thing. But it doesn't feel like they're throwing all that in there just to throw it in. It just all happens. The only bad thing about that song is Charlie Watts doesn't play drums on it. Jimmy Miller, the producer, had to play it because Charlie could never get the feel right, and he just gave up. Charlie got bored easily, I guess. So he just gave up. So I kind of hate that my favorite Rolling Stone song is one that Charlie's not on, because Charlie's my favorite drummer outside of Keith Moon. So,
And that's taking me to number 1,
all right.
and which was at your number 7, and that's Happy. I'm telling you, man, I heard
I
that.
think that's a surprise number 1.
It is and it isn't, only because Exile, again, being one of those albums that you can just listen to over and over again, and right in the middle of it, you get Keith Richards' vocals, and the whole beginning to the dun, 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 I've always been a huge fan of that song, and I love an interview I heard with Keith said that he just always loved that. Well, of course he sang it, but he always loved that song. Called it like a quintessential rock and roll song. Some great footage of Mick and Keith singing it off that '72 tour. And when we're talking about lyrics, it's never want to be like Papa, working for the boss every night and day.
Yeah.
Favorite line, one of my all-time favorite.
Rock and roll lyrics.
It is. Happy is just what they say. It is a rock and roll song that will make you happy. No, it's great. Number one on the list.
All right. I'm pretty happy with our list. I'm sure people might have some issues with them, and feel free to let us know.
My mom especially is going to really be upset that Beast of Burden didn't make it on the list, but sorry, Mom.
We'll have a Mrs. Heiser episode later.
Jeffrey,
What, Mom?
I'm fixing grilled cheese.
Can Tom stay? You want to stay?
Oh, absolutely.
He's a growing boy.
Thanks, Mrs. P.
All right. Grilled
Excellent.
cheese. That's a good way to wrap this up.
And sweet pickles. Gotta have the sweet pickles.
Be sure and join us next week on Vintage Vinyl when we talk about the Who.
Oh, you won't get fooled again.
Thanks for joining us. This is Jeffrey Lee Puckett, Tom Heiser, CourierJournal.com/music.